My name is Jack Smith, and my wife is Maria, and we've farmed. I've farmed my whole life. We've farmed together since 1979 when we were married, and we have 4 children. The only job I've ever had is production agriculture, and my family came here in 1853, and it's been continuously farmed by our family all those years, and it's basically a cattle farm, and there have been cattle on it all those years. You know, this farm is west of Dubuque, maybe about 12 miles, and we have a beautiful old historic barn that's kind of a landmark, really. The farm sits on a little bit of a hill, and the barn, kind of sat proudly there for about 106 years. And so it's kind of our family heirloom, I would say. And we actually still use it in our livestock operations. So it'd be one of the few, historic barns that are still used for agriculture. And it would be my 5th generation grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, came to this site in 1853. And he was an immigrant from Ireland, and they had children in Ireland. And then they also had kids on their way here in Michigan and Ohio. And then they finished their family while they were here. And so he passed the farm on to his son, his name was Robert. And then actually my great-grandmother, her name was Julia, she was the next heir. And then her son Joseph, which would be my grandfather, who I never knew, he kind of added to the farm. And he ran a sawmill on the property, and he had a threshing machine. He was kind of a little bit of an entrepreneur, he was kind of, and he was pretty successful, and he increased the size of the farm quite a bit. He is the one who built our barn, and oddly, it feels like that's my connection to him, a little bit. And so, it's a source of pride in that regard. And then my own father, he served in World War II in the South Pacific. And then when he came home, my parents were engaged before he left. And then when he got home 3.5 years later, they got married. And then they bought a farm west of Bankston where I live. And so then we were able to buy this farm that he grew up on in 1988. Yeah, so primarily our main source of income is beef cattle. And we have about 400 mother cows, and we calve spring and fall both. So we calve about 2/3 of them in March through April, and then we stop. And then we calve about 1/3, probably like the last week of August through October 1st. By having 2 calving seasons, we were able to have 2 income streams throughout the year. And but we do sell corn and some soybeans, and we grow a lot of forage crops, hay and sorghum Sudan and clover mixes, and then we graze a lot. We have a lot of marginal land that we've returned to grazing. And we feel like that's probably a big plus environmentally, to take land that's kind of fragile in the ecosystem and then go back to grass with it and keep it. I think that's more of a sustainable approach. When you accomplish things, and see progress, it's highly rewarding, and like the old adage that farmers live poor and die rich is kind of true. We accumulate assets that we have no intentions of ever selling. So, but I tell my kids, you want to farm in a way that you can be financially comfortable. You don't, living paycheck to paycheck's not a good way to live. And so we try hard to, we don't buy things we don't need, for instance. We try to, only buy machinery that we actually need and can use and can benefit our operation. We don't buy machinery for tax purposes like some people do. So we try to be, wise about how we spend our money. Well, I'm really proud that in my lifetime we've been able to hang on to these farms and improve them and pass them on. And then I feel really good about living in a community that's still thriving, agriculturally. My neighbors we have really wonderful community here that's really alive, and we, have a lot of young people, like kids around here, and that I really think that's a great sign. And they support our community and our churches, and so that gives you hope, I think. our community isn't just old people, so it's highly rewarding to see young people. And then we have people that move in here, oddly enough, from other places, and that's a healthy thing. I think that gives us, I've lived here my whole life, but as you get older, you need different perspectives, I think, so you don't get old and cranky, and we really do have that here, so that pleases me a lot. Yeah. This farm was timber soil, it was covered in trees, and it's a really good farm, but when you get west, like where I live, west of Bankston, it was all prairie, and those are the best soils in Iowa because of all the years of, that tall grass prairie decaying and then making those soils real high in carbon, and in organic matter. So Iowa was just blessed with, rich soils, and so we ought to treat it, I don't ever call soil dirt because I think that's really a misnomer. We need to treat soils for the value that they have. We've only been farming here since like the 1850s, and we've lost too much topsoil in those few years, and there are people who, need to farm long after we're gone, so we need to really value our soils, I think, and we do that by cover cropping and growing forages and crop rotation. And, the right concept in my mind is soil health. It's not enough just to conserve what we have, we need to make it better. So we need to view that soil as a living organism and improve it. And cover crops, manure, more diverse rotations, that all isn't really a good process for soil health, to improve soil health. So. And I'm grateful because, like my father, we've really benefited from the things that my parents and grandparents did before us, these farms were handed over to us in really good condition. And, we feel like we've improved them too, and we feel like that's really a kind of the right approach so that when my sons farm them, that, they've benefited from what we've done. So, we're very conscious of our environment. We want to farm in a environmentally responsible manner. So we no-till. We're 100% no-till. We cover crop everything, and I sit on our soil and water board because I think those things are important, and I think you have to instill that into your children. That we're just here for a little while, and we need to leave these farms better than we found them.